everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Performance Cafe. It's lovely to have you with us today, and we are going to be talking about the next topic on our change menu for this series, and that is the roles that people play in change. So the important thing here is that we've already spoken about the fact that change is difficult and changing the status quo is difficult and people feel like they lose control and the impact that that has. But I also think that we understand that different people will react differently to the change. And so it's quite interesting that when we go into a discussion in a team setup, myself and my team, and we're taking a look at helping guide people through change, what we often find is that different people will respond differently. And people tend to go into the change going, well, I've planned this so well, I hope no one dislikes it. I hope they all just say yes and we can carry on. But actually, that never happens, right? There's always a whole bunch of people in the room and a variety of different players taking different approaches. So the first type of person we will find in the room is the advocate. And we love the advocates because they are enthusiastic supporters of change and they can help us drive the change initiative forward. What's really lovely about this is that often they are coming at the change from the team's perspective, and they might add and highlight and are able to reframe the change so that it works for all the people in the room, because they are taking it from the perspective of the entire team. So we really enjoy having them around because they can help us drive this initiative forward. So the best thing there is to empower them, give them a platform to voice their support. Let them start a WhatsApp group, where they post, positive thoughts they've had about the change, where they answer questions of people who might be less enthusiastic. If we know we can trust them, let them run with that. Use that natural energy that they have. And also, of course, include them in planning and implementation, because again, they are going to be positive. So even when they are bringing us challenges and things where they think we might be going slightly wrong, they will also be bringing us the solution. So the benefit is that because of the enthusiasm, they can create this contagious energy, they can inspire others and create the positive momentum that we want. The other people, sometimes on the opposite side of the room, are our victims, right? These are people who feel powerless or overwhelmed by the change. They often will perceive themselves as negatively impacted or be so anxious about the potential of being negatively impacted that there's no way that they are going to see the positive behind the change. And these are people that we really need to listen to. So if we listen and we address their concerns with empathy, then we provide maybe support, clarity. We give them involvement in the process so they can feel more in control. Maybe pair them up with an advocate so that they can see the positivity around this. Because you see, when we acknowledge their feelings and offer concrete support, we can help give them a base so that they can shift their mindset from victimhood to participation. And that is, I think, one of the biggest ones that I've found. Often some of my best employees over long term are not those who agreed with me, but those who didn't, but who worked to bring them on board. And then we created really strong relationships that we always leveraged off afterwards. Then next up, between these two, we've got the neutral bystanders. Now, the neutral bystanders are going to remain indifferent about the change. They're just going to sit and wait and see how is this going to unfold before they take a stance. Won't work against it. They won't work for it. They're just going to, sit and wait it out. One of the ways to move them is also seek their input and make the change, show them how this change is relevant to their roles. Show them the benefits or the impacts they might not immediately see, and engage with them to see if they can find impacts and benefits that you might not have seen. So by involving them, what's going to happen is you're going to turn this passive participant into an active contributor who can improve overall team alignment. Now, between the advocate, the victim, and the neutral bystanders, we don't really have anyone that's actually detracting from the process in general. The victims are going to worry about themselves. The neutral bystanders aren't going to add or take away from the process until we've moved them. But the people that I think we are most concerned about is the fourth group, and those are the critics. And the critics challenge the change. They often question its validity, its impact, its planning, the timing, the amount of money it's going to take, the resources it's going to take. They will take this apart at the seams. And these are the people that I think break change management teams into hot sweats, because they're like, we know we're going to go in, these people are going to have all of these questions, queries, comments, concerns. They're going to make it all negative. They're going to detract from what we're trying to do here. And I agree. And I've been in that situation. And it is soul destroying, especially considering that it's when we're taking a look at something like change management and organization, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes, right? So just bringing people on board can sometimes feel like a fairly small part of the whole process. But what one rather needs to do is don't dismiss their feedback, but use their critique constructively. Address those concerns and do so openly and transparently. And then if you can't find the solution, pull them in and have them help you find that solution. You see, critiquing is often thought of as negative, and it can be time-consuming, draining, and it brings the energy levels down. But what it also does is it secures our risk management. If we can deliver a change that's actually so resilient that everyone, including the critics, are prepared to accept it, that means that we've got a really good probability that this is going to be a low-risk change. So take I like that saying of take what's in the way and make it the way, right? So take those critiques and turn them into potential solutions, potential options. So the benefit here is that the moment that you show the critics that you want to hear, that you are interested and you want to make them happy as well, not at risk to the program, but that you will incorporate what they say, not only are you supporting them and making them feel heard, but also they're going to identify blind spots that you might not have seen. Again, this is very possibly a great way to create valuable allies going forward and make sure that everyone is on team, has brought in, and is going to help to make this better. So that's it for this week. I hope that you have found some valuable insights on how to make best use of your advocates and your critics and how to involve the victims and the neutral bystanders. If you'd like to hear more about this or more about our change series, please head over to performforward.com, where we post these as blogs and that you actually get a link back to this video as well. And then I look forward to seeing you next week again. Where's my see you again. Performance Cafe.